Hey everyone, Judson here from Kootenay Backcountry Guides, coming at you from the clouds with my gaming headset on. Um, we're going to do a little bit of a different State of the Snowpack update right now. I've been doing a lot of field observations. Thanks everyone out there who's sharing, participating, giving us info. What I'm hoping to do right now is give more of an overall synopsis of what's going on. So we're going to talk about what's going on in the Kootenays, the surrounding Columbia Mountains north of us, the Selkirks that are just north of here, and then talk about the Avalanche Canada forecast. I'm going to talk about the snowpack depths we're seeing in various locations, and I'm going to show you our general snowpack, the layers of concern, and the layout of the snowpack, and then avalanche activity. We'll dive into some satellite imagery and show you some places where avalanches are occurring, all in the hopes that you can plan better backcountry trips, be safer, and ultimately have more fun. So let's dive right in. So Avalanche Canada right now, currently in the Kootenay region with their flexible forecasts. It seems like the region is pretty similar to the Kootenays last year, and yeah, what you'll notice this year with the forecast is they're going to go flexible, meaning that if things are similar to here all the way up to Revelstoke, this line here will be gone, and they'll include the whole entire region. So it's a really interesting and cool tool for us. You can see we're lumped in right now with Kimberley and Cranbrook over in the Purcells. Traditionally, the Purcells haven't been part of us, and maybe that will happen. Maybe the Purcells become their own thing, but it allows Avalanche Canada to do a bit better job of highlighting the fact that the snowpack lies differently over different areas, the spatial variability of it. So right now, as of today, they were calling it considerable, moderate, today being December 1st. Happy December, everyone. Happy snow, everyone. It dumped out yesterday. Skiing has been fantastic. Everyone's pumped and getting out there. That's awesome. They called it today considerable, moderate. And I was out today, and I'd agree with that assessment moving forward. You can see to the north of us and over into what is maybe the Lizard Range there, it's high. So if you click on here, we'll see what they're saying. So if you're going north of Nelson, Valhalla's, you're going into Kootenay, they're calling avalanche hazard high, and moderate, and they're saying very dangerous avalanche conditions. Travel in avalanche terrains not recommended. Numerous reports of skier trigger, natural and remote trigger avalanche observations. And we dive into the details, we're going to see that this is the same layer that is down here as well. And it seems to be mellowing out. Tomorrow considerable moderate, and Saturday considerable moderate low. We get into their problems. They're calling it a persistent slab problem, and they're saying human triggered avalanches are likely on this slab problem, and around 40 to 80 centimeters of snow from the past week is forming a slab that's not bonding well to the underlying snowpack. That's really similar to what's going on in Nelson here. They're saying avalanches are very likely on all elevations, all slopes, expected size up to size 3.5. Those are large avalanches, and I think that's indicative of the fact that they have more snow. They got a bit more out of the storm that happened earlier in the week than we did. It seemed like some places we got 25. That was on Sunday. That we got like 25, and some places north here got 40, 50 centimeters. So there's more snow sitting around. And but regardless, the same layer is plaguing us around here as well. So this might be a sign of what's to come down the road locally here, and might even be here already as I get deeper into this and touch more. So they're also saying there's a wind slab in the alpine and tree line on all slopes with likely chance of avalanches up to size 2, saying most likely on north aspect terrain. Those will be from the winds that occurred. When we move on over to the Kootenays here and click on the forecast here, They are the same. They're saying dangerous avalanche conditions exist. Careful snowpack evaluation, cautious route finding, and conservative decision making are essential. So the continued snowfall is increasing the depth of the snow that overlies various layers that will produce slab avalanches on steep terrain features. They're calling today considerable, moderate, and the problems, they're calling it a storm slab here, and north of us are calling it a persistent slab. I am treating this problem that's a storm slab exactly like a persistent slab. It's on a persistent grain type. It has a crust right near it. It's down 70 centimeters, and my spidey senses are getting me to treat this exactly like a persistent slab problem. So they're saying this exists at alpine and tree line on all aspects, with likely to very likely chance of triggering it, size up from size 1 up to size 2.5 are possible. For my sense, I haven't had any observations in the Alpine, and I haven't seen too many people make it out to the Alpine. It's been pretty stormy. There was low snowpack before that, so observations on the Alpine are relatively limited. So that's going to reflect in their confidence. If you dig into the details, you're going to see it's unlikely they have a high confidence. And they're saying this storm slab problem doesn't exist below tree line. It's there. The challenges, or the thing about it, is there just isn't that much snow below tree line. But as I dive into the avalanche activity, we're going to see that avalanches are actually starting on specific terrain features below tree line that I have seen out there, and probably others as well. Okay, let's get into what's gone on with the weather in the last little bit here. So when we click this Southridge weather station, see a snowpack of 101. It peaked last night at 3 a.m. at 105. This station tends to read a little bit low, in my opinion. I was out today finding at the same elevation about 140, 150 centimeters at tree line at 2,000 meters today, which was great to see. Still not a lot of snow. And the temps have been super cold. So because these temps have been cold, that snow is belower. Reading here, it reads we got about 25 centimeters yesterday into last night, and my reading is it was more like 30, 35 centimeters out there of just total cold smoke. Skiing was great. People were pumped. Whitewater was super busy yesterday and today with people getting out there. And when we go a bit south of here and check Kootenay Pass, this is at 1,800 meters. They are saying they have about the same, of about a meter. So that's good for them. That's good for everybody. Snowpack depths still, though, are, I wouldn't say low. They're seasonal average. It's still not go and like send it. And we'll get into that in a little bit here. When we move on over and check out the snow station at Redfish. So Redfish Creek peaked out at about 57 inches. This is in inches. For those of you who aren't familiar with this station, it's pretty cool. It's up at Redfish, and you can see the website up there, so you can copy it. Maybe we'll get a chance to put that in the description of the video for everyone. But yeah, 57 is 142 centimeters, so maybe a little bit more snow up Redfish Way in the Kootenay Range, and that's consistent with what Avalanche Canada was saying in that last storm. This chart down here, right here, this is kind of one of my favorite ones. This measures the water equivalency in the snowpack. Super cool chart. You can see it just went up, 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 up. This is like late October, and it was just dumping, 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 and then we had that drought. And so this drought here is what created our problem layers. You can see we've been getting snow. And our 30-year average, we're above our 30-year average by just a little bit. So this is just generally right where we normally are at this time. And it's great. I know the last few years we've had some poor early season conditions, so it's great to get it more like an average year right now when people are out able to ski before December and actually getting POW and face shots in late November is absolutely fantastic. So I'm gonna move over and just talk about the layers and what I'm seeing of depths while I'm out there traveling. So this last storm here, this is it. So for those of you maybe not familiar with this, this axis over here is how hard the snow is, and this axis over here is the height of the snow. So we're starting at the surface. So this is fist snow, meaning this is really nice blower snow, really low density cold smoke, and this is what you're skiing on and having an absolutely fantastic time with, is this this snow. Now, I actually did this up yesterday at the end of my day, so I had come back in the morning before it snowed another 20, so you can probably add another 10 or 20 of cold smoke sitting on top of this layer here. So this was from November 30th. So this is all the blower power we're skiing on. You go down, and then there's actually a little layer of surface hoar that's really hard to find. It's down about 40 to 50 centimeters, and it was buried on November 27th, 26th, the night of the 26th. We had that storm that rolled in on Sunday, delivered that snow. It fell on surface hoar. And then we have the previous storms. Now, this is in a little bit of a wind-loaded area, so there's a little bit more snow reading here than what I'm finding elsewhere. But I tried to kind of average it out as best I could, and I'm finding anywhere between 40 and max 80 centimeters down until we find this this surface hoar facet layer. Now, this layer was stiff in this location. In others, it's just pow right down onto this surface hoar and crust layer. And this next layer is the one that's we're going to be talking about this layer for a while, I feel, unless something major happens or changes. This is going to be the thing. This is what's creating the high avalanche hazard and the considerable, or high avalanche hazard up north and considerable hazard around here, is the fact that there is a crust. This is a rock hard crust. You can see it's knife. That means it's hard to, you have to use a knife to penetrate through it. 1 to 2 centimeters thick, depending. I've found this layer all the way up to 2,100 meters. I haven't gotten above 2,100 meters yet, but I found it all the way to that elevation. And sitting on top of it is surface hoar and facets, and then there is a slab. And again, in some places this slab is there, in other places it's not. Anywhere where this slab exists, this layer is highly questionable right now. I do not trust it. Anytime you get facets and surface hoar, it's not good. And then it's double not good when it's sitting on top of a crust. And then below the crust is pretty much facets to the ground. In some places, I was actually finding depth hoar right at the very bottom. Other places, it's facets. There's a little bit of crust here and there in the bottom. But I'm not paying a lot of attention to that, because the main feature here is this crust. And everywhere I found it, this crust is so supportive. It's not making the bottom of the snowpack that important. And this layer is deep enough and has enough snow on enough slab that it's going to cause, it could cause an avalanche big enough to kill or bury you. We're going to get a little bit more into that layer as we roll on here and I talk about the avalanche activity. But yeah, this layer is obvious and you can see it everywhere. You can feel it under your skis in some places. You can pull. And a great tip to do if you want to know how much snow is sitting on this layer, you can just take your pole out and just stick your pole down or your probe into the snow. You can feel where this layer is, and you can know, pretty much rest assured, that there is most likely surface hoar sitting on top of it, and or facets and slabs sitting on top of it. So really heads up with this layer. I'm calling it the November 18th. Up north are calling it the 21st. I know down at Kootenay Pass, those guys are calling it the 17th. And then this crust, we're calling the November 5th crust. And yeah, there they are. And that's the main feature in the snowpack. As this slab gets bigger, we get more snow, it gets deeper. This layer is going to be harder and harder to forecast. It is high enough off the ground to cause avalanches, especially at tree line. And again, I haven't been to the Alpine. I don't know what this layer is doing. I don't know how high it is. If anyone has any obs on the Alpine, if anybody's dug down, please put in a min report. Let Avalanche Canada know. Reach out to me. Let me know what you're seeing up high if you happen to have got there. It looks like we might have a bit of a weather window happening, and if that happens and people get up high, have a look. Don't trust this layer at all. If you're in the Alpine, just because you don't find surface water on it, might be facets. This layer is not to be trusted. Okay, so let's just move around onto fat maps here. Beautiful tool to tell us what's going on and show terrain. So when we go down here and we're down in these lower areas, I was actually seeing people ski down these runs here today, and the coverage actually didn't look too bad. I didn't get out to get my probe, but it's kind of looking like there's 40, 50, 60 centimeters down at this elevation in places where whitewater's cleaned off the runs. It was actually looked like it was great skiing. Guys with beards had snow in them. That indicates face shots. And they obviously felt comfortable enough to ski fast enough down there. I would say anywhere in here that isn't cleaned out, it is alder. The alder has not laid down at all. So we're talking about the bottoms of Whale's Back, the bottoms of Ecstasy. All of these bottoms here, as you drive up the road, you're going to see that the alder has not laid down. This low density snow does not make for great alder issues. It makes for really bad alder situations, and you could get into a world of trouble dropping in on a run where there is alder at the bottom of it. The surface horror is present down here and is likely quite a bit bigger and trickier. And when we get into our avalanche activity, those of you who travel up towards Hummingbird Pass along this, you're going to notice that as you cross the bridge, there's a slope that's right in here, and there is actually a size 1 slab that looks like it's broken off and failed on the surface horror layer. So just because they're not saying it's below tree line, it is there. It's just that often the terrain isn't there. So if you do happen to find a larger slope below tree line that's smooth, like basically like a tailings pile or a rock slab, that layer is going to be there, and that layer is failing. It's obviously failing as a slab. When I drove down the road and I got to Glory, you could see all kinds of cracks along the Glory Cat Road. That layer is touchy. People are getting whoops as they're walking along. It is there. That surface horror is big. It is sitting on that crust. So it's there. It's just that the snowpack isn't that deep. So you have to find that really specific, or what we like to call isolated spot, where you could trigger it and cause an avalanche. So moving on up here, I went for a tour today to look at things. Unfortunately, what happened halfway through my tour is it got crazy foggy, and I wasn't able to see too much. But as I was touring up and got up to the top of Summit, walking along here, I actually saw a size 2 that had pulled out of this feature in here and spilled on down to the Catch Basin Skiway. And people are just generally accustomed to going across there and having Whitewater deal with that feature with bombs and control it for them. But that's not what goes on early season. And what was kind of interesting about it is you could see a lot of people had used this up track to get up into Prospector Bowl or maybe Weimer Bowl, and they were all there yesterday. And then this slab pulled out yesterday. So anybody who went across here yesterday and walked across here, you either triggered an avalanche down that buried your tracks, or you walked past it and then it failed naturally. I really don't know what happened with this slide, but it was definitely a size 2, definitely big enough to have buried, injured, or killed a person. And anyone who went up there basically had a near miss that went on. So it's kind of one of the reasons why I do these things is to let people know what's going on, especially early season. We don't have a lot of information that's out there. Um, Probing around at this elevation, I'm finding anywhere from 120 to 145 centimeters. The deepest snow I was able to find was yesterday over on this feature. We didn't end up skiing it because just we found surface hoar down 70 centimeters with a slab on it. And I was finding 150, 160 centimeters along in here in this area. And as soon as you go over the other side here, the winds have been howling up the south, scoured it down to like 20 centimeters deep. Weimer Bowl looks like it's got quite a bit of snowpack goat slide as well. It looks like everything's kind of good to go as far as skiing goes in that respect. But again, you're going to have to really mind yourself and tempt. Of course, this will be closed for the next week, and maybe that's a good thing because Whitewater's closing off their parking lot. Maybe we give this a chance to settle any features that are like this. Big avalanche paths at treeline. I expect that surface hoar and that crust to be present. I haven't been anywhere where I haven't found it so far. I had a look on the edge of Sluice Box the other day on a south aspect, not expecting to find the surface hoar. And that's where I found the biggest surface hoar was right on the edge of Weimer Bowl. And it was sitting directly on a crust, and it failed really easily on an extended column test, propagated across the whole block. So that layer is around. I suspect it is everywhere. Obviously, the other thing to think about is when you're at these elevations of the 1600 up to 1800, even at 2000 meters, it isn't midwinter yet. It hasn't really filled in. There's a lot of trees down. There is still rocks. There was a big wind event that blew a lot of trees down. The Hummer trees here had quite a big wind event that blew through it. Lots of trees on the ground. It is not time to just turn on the jets and power through things and go super fast. It's time to just take it easy, chill on the way down. So yeah, at the bottom here, at this elevation, 1600 meters, we're getting about 70 to 80 centimeters depth, and then just increases as you go up. So obviously, as snowpack depths increase, so does avalanche hazard. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in to these. Thanks for everybody for sharing. Just wanted to say, if you wanted to support us, you can sign up to one of our courses. We have spots on our AST1s. I know I still have a few places on an AST2 I'm teaching right over New Year's. I'm also teaching one at the beginning of February. Most of our AST2s have one or two spots left in them. They're filling up quick. So if you want to learn my process, if you want to get out there and level up your game, sign up to one of our courses. And again, just thanks for everybody in the community for supporting us at Kootenay Backcountry Guides and State of the Snowpack. We're putting on an event at the Baron Sturgeon on Monday, the 5th, and we're going to be doing a working in the Avalanche path. It's a event where guides and Avalanche professionals locally here are going to talk about their career paths and how to gain a foothold in the industry. And it's becoming ever popular, but it's challenging to figure out the ins and outs. So we're all going to be down there at the Baron Sturgeon. Come on by to meet us. We're going to be talking about snowmobile guiding, ski guiding, working as a patroller, working in industry, and as well as heli and mechanized guiding environments. And then, of course, State of the Snowpack is going to be December 20th this year at the Royal. So come on down, book your tables early. That always sells out. There's never an empty seat in the house. And hopefully we're going to be talking about a bunch of fat pow by then, and the resort will be well opened, and everyone will have a lot of turns in and a lot of face shots. I just before I go, I do want to also just highlight one thing. I'm just remembering to chat about um, terrain features that I'm really avoiding right now would be something like Whale's Back. So Whale's Back is smooth ground cover right at the elevation band where that surface hoar is. I haven't seen any tracks in here this year, but this is the type of terrain feature that I think that that layer is really going to be problematic in. It's smooth, it's open, it's at tree line. And yeah, I guarantee you that layer is hanging out there, and we're going to be on the lookouts for Whales Back for most likely most of the year here, and hopefully not, but yeah. So yeah, okay, thanks for tuning in. A bit long-winded and longer, but hopefully you got something out of this. Please give me some feedback. How do you feel about this? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Am I doing too much? Am I doing too little? Give me the feedback. Connect, reach out on social media, give us messages. Let's keep going. Put your min reports in there. Let's keep building our information stockpiles for this year and just make it a safer and ultimately better and more fun winter for everyone out there. Thank you.